like that one. We live? Are we streaming? That's right. Hey. Welcome to the Dreadedconservative show. Monday night. Kicking the week off right. I'm tired than a mug. I'm late. Running late. Alright. Let's get this. Let's drop this music out. I like it. Okay. Stop. Is there a fade out? I wish there was a fade out instead of just a hard stop like that. But anyway. I think I hit dismiss instead of snooze on my alarm. And I realized the Diddy situation may be a changing of the guard. J. Cole and Kendrick had beef with Bibby. What's up, Tomas? What's up, Floyd? What's up, Bibby? I'm tired. Yes, I just woke up. Just woke up in a rush. Took the dog out. We got a little show today. It's kind of well, I don't really have like a third segment. Maybe we'll just do like open the Bible to a random page and start reading it. But the theme for today's show is lack of justice. Lack of justice, crime everywhere, violence abounds, crime is off the chain, and self-defense is not really allowed anymore. So we got a bunch of cases, a bunch of trials, a bunch of crazy stuff going on, court news type of stuff today. We'll talk about the Apple River stabbing and the verdict that just came out for Nicholae Mui. I think that's how you say it, Mui. That's the guy that stabbed 5 kids who surrounded him and were pushing him into the water. An old man, and he came up out of the water with a knife in his hand and started stabbing. He got a little stabby, and somebody died. We'll talk about the Kiara Jones. Kiara Jones, she's a scumbag of the day. That's the woman that was attacking the autistic kid on the school bus, and I just wonder if it's going to be called a hate crime because it looks like a hate crime. If hate crimes are real, it looked like a hate crime. We'll talk about that scumbag lady. We'll talk about James and Jennifer Crumbley, what was his name? Ethan Crumbley, the school shooter parents who were charged. What sort of precedents that sets for the future. Dexter Reed shooting, shot 96 times by police, and all of the media forgets to tell you that he shot first. And then the Arizona abortion stuff. There's also another mass shooting in Chicago. So I have that story. We had a shooting in Salt Lake City. All that stuff. But we'll spend a little time on the Arizona abortion stuff with Trump and Kamala are at battle right now. She's saying it's his fault. And then so the left hates Trump because he basically led to all these states having banned abortion. And then people on the right who are pro-abortion are turning on Trump too. Against abortion, are turning on Trump also because he said that Arizona went too far. So we'll look at all that stuff, the quotes, and see if some people are over exaggerating or, if maybe Trump's in the wrong on this one. We'll take a look at all that. Well, that's the plan for the show. I don't have no memes, but I do have reels, and I have some rapid fire news. Iran and Israel are at war. OJ died. The wrong kid died. So that's the plan. That's the plan for the show. Before I start, um, I gotta work. I gotta work on not drinking as much, guys. You guys gotta hold me accountable because I had to take that stream down from the other day because I drank pretty much a whole bottle of Jameson and I was faded by the end. And I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna apologize to Jalen. We're not gonna go in depth, but I got a little I got a little ruffled. He got under my skin. I got a little heated, and I said some mean choice words for him. And he doesn't really deserve an apology, but I am apologizing because I should have more self control than that. And if I get that drunk, I shouldn't be doing a stream for you guys, or I shouldn't be drinking a whole bottle in a night. That's just I'm more sorry to myself for doing that. I'm sorry to you guys, the viewers, for having to see that, and I'm sorry for Jalen, even though he was kind of being a douchebag. Um, but I went a little too far with my words, and I got a little flustered. He got under my skin. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. To be fairly, Jalen was drunk as well. Jalen was drunk as well. Yes, he was drinking liquor all night at the club. So I'm sure he was definitely drunk also. So, but yeah, it's summertime. We got to tighten up, man. I had gotten to where I wasn't even smoking cigarettes for like a week. I didn't smoke any cigarettes for like a week, which I've never done that. And then some things happened. I got a little stressed out and went back to the cigarettes. Went back to 5 25-ounce beers a day, 4 or 5 big cans of beer every day. So we got to tighten it back up. Winter is it's tough. It's tough if you're like, maybe you drink a little too much beer or you drink a little too much and you want to work on that. It's hard to work on it in the winter cuz when the winter comes, you just want to sit around and it's groggy and nasty and yeah. Well, I know, Floor. I know, Floor. I know. It's more it's more of an apology to you guys cuz that got messy. And then I was like pouring my heart out about stuff, but yeah. Yeah, anyway, I was talking about stuff that is unimportant, it doesn't matter, but it did get, I just wanted to if people are going to accuse me of stuff, I want them to be I want them to know the whole story. So, yeah, yeah, I know, Floor. I know, Floor. Don't I get it. I know, Floor. Now I want a hot toddy. Hot toddy. Hot toddy is coffee with whiskey in it. This is coffee, but there's no whiskey in it. Mm, it's hitting the spot though. Coffee's hitting the spot though. I'm sleepy. Putting a little pep in my step. Okay. Um, I guess let's just get right into these stories. Might have blown your eardrums out with that one. Volume was a little high on that. All right, so first, Apple River stabbing. This happened 2 years ago, and I don't remember ever reporting on it. I don't remember hearing about it. It was probably being overshadowed by what was happening 2 years ago, like the end of COVID, or I don't know, but 2 years ago? No. COVID's like 2020, 2021. 2 years ago was 2022. Nothing was really happening in 2022. But this is Nicholae Mui. I'm going to pronounce his name Mui, M-I-U. And, well, spoiler alert, he was found guilty. Um, Basically, I'm going to play the video for you guys. And all of the like crazy stuff is blurred out, but it's kind of it's a tough one. It's a tough one because do I think do I think he went a little too far? Yeah. Yeah, I think he went a little too far. But at the same time, do I think he was justified? I kind of do because he's a 65-year-old man. He's surrounded by young high school football players yelling at him, screaming at him. Women are yelling in his face. Everybody's yelling at this man. It's loud. It's crazy. All he's trying to do is find a cell phone that he dropped in the river. So he's snorkeling around, and all these people are partying in the middle of the river. And so he takes his snorkel and he's swimming around where these kids, and then there's another group of ladies are drinking and partying on the river. And he comes in with his snorkel and he's like swimming around them. And I guess that was weird to them. And you have like drunk high school guys. They're like, yo, why are you swimming around where we're hanging out? And he's kind of a foreigner. He says, I'm trying to find a phone. But then they think then they start calling him a PDF file. They start saying, you're trying to look at girls. What are you looking for girls for? Like, maybe they thought he was swimming under the tubes or something, trying to look at their butts. I don't know. They don't really explain it, but they start calling him. Maybe they're just drunk and they're just being scumbag kids and they're just insulting him, but they're yelling at him. You're trying to touch girls. And then another lady, he starts yelling at the boys, not even really yelling, but they're all yelling at him. Then these two ladies come over and get in his face and start yelling at him in his face and stuff. He's trying to walk away. Then he drops his goggles and he's trying to get his goggles. He's trying to find his goggles. And then they start pushing him. One of them pushes him down into the water and he gets up. And then another one pushes him down in the water and smacks him in the head while he's in the water. And when he gets up out of the water that second time, he's got something shiny in his hand. And he just gets a little stabby and he starts stabbing them up. He stabs five kids. One of them dies. One of them is left with a huge scar on his. Like, I don't know. This guy must have had some sort of military training. He's stabbing like, you think if it's a little knife, you just throw a couple little jabs real quick. This kid had a scar from like his groin to his chest. I think maybe I can find that testimony where he shows it in the courtroom. But yeah, it's crazy. And he kills one. So like this guy was like not just poking, he was like stabbing and he was trying to shish kebab some people, and he succeeded. And anyway, pretty much like all of conservative media was saying this is a clear-cut case of self-defense. Even Destiny called this Rittenhouse 2.0. And it seemed like he was going to get off. He has the same lawyer that Rittenhouse had, but he did not get off. Spoiler alert, he was found guilty not only of the killing, but of all 6 charges. And a jury on Thursday found a Minnesota man guilty. And this was also in Minnesota. So where Chauvin happened. And yeah, Minnesota's a mess, but found him guilty on all charges in connection with the fatal stabbing of a teenager during a tubing trip in western Wisconsin in the summer of 2022. He's now 54. Oh, I thought he was 65 for some reason. He was found guilty of first-degree reckless homicide in the death of 17-year-old Isaac Schumann of Stillwater during a confrontation on the Apple River. The verdict was read just after 11 a.m. In Circuit Court, Hudson County, Wisconsin. It's been 21 months we've been waiting for justice for Isaac Michael Schumann. We got it today. And that's the boy who died. Let's watch the video, He's also found guilty of 4 counts of first-degree reckless endangering safety in connection with 4 people who were wounded in the stabbing. Alexander Martin, Dante Carlson, Anthony Carlson, and Riley Madison. He was also found guilty on account of battery. And we'll read a little more. Let's watch the video. If you guys haven't seen this. It says graphic content. It's really not, they blur everything out. But seeing the lead up and stuff, now it's crazy. It's hard to follow. And it's loud. Now, see, when these things happen, we don't see the lead up. I've listened to the whole trial pretty much while I was at work. And he says he was looking for his goggles and he started yelling at him. And then somebody pushed him. And that's why he ran up to them. Or no. What he said was one of the kids had a phone in a Ziploc bag. And the phone that he lost, his daughter had lost, and they were down the river, and he went back to look for the phone, was in a Ziploc bag. So when he's running up to them like that, he's trying to see the phone because he asked them, he asked them, could he see the phone? They said no. So when the video starts and he's running towards them, he's running to try to grab the bag and look at the phone because he thinks they found the phone that he's looking for. So he runs up to them and he puts his hands on the tube. And then it really goes off when the woman comes and gets in his face. You don't see it on the video, but they say that he hits her or she puts his hands on him or he puts his hands on her. They say he hits her and then they say, you can't hit a woman. You can't hit a woman. And so they all start pushing him and then he comes out of the water. But anyway, so that's why he's running up because he thinks that they have the phone he's looking for. And you see here he has goggles and a snorkel in his hand. In a second, he's going to drop the goggles and snorkel, and then he's going to get up and he's going to be walking around the tubes, feeling in the water for the goggles and the snorkel. And he explains that's what he's doing in the court testimony. But so you see, he just dropped the goggles and the snorkels. So now he's looking at the water for his goggles and snorkels that he just lost. And he lost the phone. This guy just needs to stop losing stuff. The kid just yelled, haha, you just lost your snorkel. So now he's bending into the water. He walked to the other side of the tube down current because he thought the snorkel would drift under the tubes. And now he's feeling for the snorkel under the water.
What's going on with y'all homie? He's on camera. Tripping. He's on 4K. Yo, the new iPhone got that good quality. What did you say? Yeah, what the hell?
These are all high school football players. So these are healthy young athlete kids. And they're all screaming at him. And then the lady comes over and she doesn't make it any better.
Who is this? Yes. For the culture.
And the kids yelling for the culture. They brought that up in court. They're like, what is that? We looked at Urban Dictionary to find out what for the culture means. And it says doing something you normally wouldn't do or wouldn't be acceptable to promote harmful lifestyles or something like that. And he's like, says, why are you yelling for the culture? What does that mean? Now here comes this lady from another group. Her and her friend are over on the shore. They come walking over and they're telling him, you need to go. You need to go. Leave them alone. You need to get out of here. This is Karen. She's drinking. She's going to come stick her nose into it.
Who is that? Who the hell is this? Go. It doesn't matter.
You see this? Like, try to put yourself in his shoes. he's an older guy and he's surrounded and everybody's pointing at him and yelling at him, cussing at him and yelling at him and screaming at him, fingers in his face, surrounding him. I almost spilled my coffee. That would have sucked.
A little girl! He said he was looking for a little girl!
Now, see, then this part, now they're just mocking him and slandering him. They're saying, little girls, he's looking for little girls.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Weirded us out. I even have that part on camera. Some young ass kid. What the hell is this guy's problem, bro?
But in court, it came out. The kids' testimony in court was so messed up. They were lying on the stand. They were lying in their testimony, and then the truth was coming out in court. They're saying he never said anything about little girls, and the defense was talking to the kid, and he's like, "Why were you yelling that he was trying to touch little girls or look for little girls?" And they're like, "We don't know. We thought he had said that." Or no, the guy's like, "Why did you say that?" And the kid's like, "Well, I did say that, but I didn't see that." And the defense was like, "I understand that you said it, but why did you say it if it wasn't true?" And he's like, "Well, I said it. I didn't see it." And they're like, "Yeah, that's the point that we're making. You lied. You just made up this stuff about the kids." And that pretty much came out in the courtroom.
We're trying to have fun. If he's gonna close you, he's gonna claim you. We don't want this motherfucker.
Also, I think that kid had a beer in his hand, and these kids are all high school kids. So, yeah, and then here comes more ladies from this other group. Yeah, that guy's drinking a claw. Now she just put his hands on him. The ladies have been putting their hands on him multiple times by now. Now they pushed him. So when the camera turns away, apparently he hits one of the women or shoves one of the women, and that's when they push him into the water. And now they start freaking out at him. So, "You hit a woman, you hit a woman." So they walked up, smacked him in the face. He tries to get out of the water multiple times. They keep shoving him down. And now he's down again. And you're in the water. Like, you could be scared they're going to hold you under and you're going to drown, right? But watch this time when he gets out of the water. And right there, you see it just for a second right here in his hand. This time when he comes out of the water, he's got something for him. Now here we go. Up. So you do actually, I've watched this a bunch of times and I have not seen any blood. You actually do see he stabbed her. So right here, you see he stabbed her right there. Now, by this point, he's already stabbed a couple people. You don't even really see him do it. This guy must have been trained like a ninja, because he's like, you see the girl, she got hit, and she looks at it and says, "What the hell? I just got stabbed." And then now it's blurry. So right now I'm guessing he's on a little spree. And he's just, anybody who gets close to him, he's gutting them up. And then they start to realize, and the whole scene changes now once they start to realize what's happening. Now everybody's running away. That kid, you can't see it, but as he's standing up out of the water, you can tell he's cut up. This kid in the orange right here, I think that might have been the one.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? He's dying! He's dying, bro! What? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Are we serious? Is this real? Oh my god! Who is that? Oh my god! Oh my god! Is this real? Oh my god! Oh my god, what the fuck? Is this real? Wait! That's not Bike! That's not Bike! That's not Bike! That's not Bike! That's not Isaac! Oh my god! Oh my god! This isn't real! This isn't real!
Oh, it's real. It's real. All right. And so here's the AJ Martin. This is
How do you take 20,000 children in the middle of New York City without anybody seeing?
Alexander James Martin.
Do you go by a nickname?
AJ. Yeah. There.
Look at that. Damn. Bro got filleted. Look at that. With that little knife. That's crazy. So anyway, that's the case. That's what we're talking about. And he was found guilty just the other day. And it's kind of wild. What do you guys think of that video? I know that we can't see, I can't really, we got to hope that our justice system is fair. But is it crooked? Is it fair? I don't know. I listened to the trial, and to me it sounded like a self-defense charge. A bunch of stupid high school kids attacked a guy. We have the right to defend ourselves, and he had a little knife. Like, imagine if he would have had a gun. This would have been their wet dream if he had a gun, and he would have just started blasting people. But he had a knife. Also, the kid who died was white, so they're both white. So it doesn't fit their narrative for them to push this story. But, we've talked a lot about attacks on castle doctrine, trying to take the guns from people, keeping you from being able to defend yourself, letting criminals out of jail, softer penalties on criminals, harder penalties for decent tax-paying citizens. Self-defense is kind of out the window now. So he was found guilty. I don't know if he's been sentenced yet, but it's a pretty crazy case. The defense said, I felt like we had a good case. We felt like we had a good defense, Nelson said, but in many ways, self-defense is a community standard, and it's very dependent on which 12 people within the community that you ask. So depending on the jury you get is going to depend on if self-defense is a thing or not in America. Prosecutor Carl Anderson said, although Mui was convicted of downgraded charges, the jury still did his duty. So he didn't get the worst penalty that he could get. Maybe they give him a guilty sentence and they give him a light penalty because they say it was kind of self-defense, but you did go too far. So maybe he gets guilty and they give him a lighter sentence. I'm hoping that's the case, because I do kind of see, pardon the pun, but that was kind of overkill. But at the same time, I'm like, he's an older guy and he's surrounded by kids screaming at him and laughing in his face. They could have held him in the water and he could have been dead. What if he hadn't have had the knife? What would have happened? You think he would have got possibly drowned in that water, held down by a bunch of kids? You think he would have gotten beat up and left floating in a river somewhere? Who knows what would have happened? And if it's me or you, it's you. That's basically the mindset, right? So I don't know. Crazy, crazy case. Crazy case. Flew under the radar because it doesn't fit the narrative that they want. The wrong kid died. We would have had riots. We would have had national riots if you had gotten the other kid. Anyway, it looked like it. What are y'all talking about? What do you guys think? Producer says self-defense. What does a defeated man look like? That guy. Yeah. Like that right there. That's what he looks like. Look how much weight he's lost over the 2 years of going through this. Look how much weight he's lost compared to when he was in the river to now. Totally different man. And I think he's an immigrant. I think he's a foreigner because he spoke with an accent. He sounded I don't know. He sounded like kind of like Russian or like kind of like Ukrainian maybe. Mui, Nicholae Mui. What kind of name is that? I'm not sure where he's from. But he seemed like a pretty cool guy. Just had a bad day. Wrong place, wrong time. You know. So I don't know. Maybe he does deserve guilty on lighter charges. Maybe not. Hopefully he's facing substantial life-changing penalties. Yeah, like prison for the rest of your life. Pretty crazy. But let's move on from that story because I got to move quick. Was he Slavic? Yeah, he did kind of sound Slavic. I want to know what love is. I didn't even know that was the same guy. Looks like Jordan Peterson after he came back. Yeah. Yes. Well, what you see when you're going through court cases and human tribunals in Canada, you tend to lose weight. Okay. That's that story. Now I got another sick story for you. I got an example of a hate crime that isn't being called a hate crime. They're saying that this is a case of school abuse or something like that. This is a hate crime. This is an anti-white, and I'm not about that stuff, but I see it for what it is because this is what the world pushes on people is that, you know, even white children are born inherently racist and they need to be dealt with by the strong black women in the community. They need to take care of all these troublemaking autistic young white boys. That's what we have an example of here. Littleton school bus aide accused of beating nonverbal autistic boys during rides. A Littleton school bus assistant repeatedly abused at least 2 severely disabled boys during trips to and from school for kids with autism and developmental disabilities, police said, and they fear there could be additional victims. Kira Jones, Dirtball of the Week, a 29-year-old paraprofessional, more like an affirmative action lazy person. Basically, you can't handle regular teaching. You couldn't be a teacher. You couldn't be a bus aide at a regular school, so you got a job as a bus aide for autistic children. So basically, this overweight woman gets to sit on a bus with a bunch of little mentally handicapped white kids and beat up on them. That's her job. That's the job she got. That's affirmative action for you. That's people who aren't qualified being hired for jobs. But you can't watch it again. Yeah, this is actually worse. This video is like worse, especially for the ladies in the chat. This is probably harder to watch than the last video. And I usually don't cover all this stuff, but you know, it's been a while. Let's talk about all the crime. Let's talk about how crazy the world is getting for this show today. But ladies, this is kind of tough to watch.
All right, well, this next story, we do want to caution you, a warning. The video may be hard for you to watch. We'll give you a minute here if you don't want to watch a sensitive story. A former bus aide, though, in Colorado is set to face a judge next month. She is accused of abuse.
Colorado, she's probably high.
a little boy with disabilities. So we'll show you some of the video from the surveillance video. This is video that was
It's really not that. Well, I mean, it is bad. It's horrible. But the video, yeah, well, it's messed up. This is messed up. See, she elbows him there.
actually recorded last month on a Littleton school bus. It shows Kiara Jones sitting next to a 10-year-old boy. He is nonverbal. And
Look at her face. Just look at the anger on her face. And she's just hitting this little kid. Like, what a scumbag. We need to put her and Nicholae Mui in a cell together and give him a shank. See if she makes it out the other side.
Jones begins striking the boy, hitting the boy, first his body and then in the face. Right now, Englewood, Colorado police are investigating and reviewing more video.
Oh, this is like an edited video. This doesn't even show the worst part. So she's elbowing him there, and it looks like they're not going to show it. But she actually gets up and like punches him and like knees him in the face. So this video doesn't even show the worst of it.
Videos. Parents are accusing Littleton schools of ignoring their complaints for months.
I could say
Yeah, you need to fry, lady.
one thing to Littleton public schools, it would be, how dare you? How dare you fail my son in such an astonishing, preventable way?
Last week, the school district superintendent told parents via email that Jones, the person in question, they have been fired. Police arrested her on suspicion of felony assault. Court records, though,
there it is.
show that she has since bonded out.
See, they didn't even show the worst of it. That's all right. We don't need to show the whole thing. But she like elbows him a couple times, but then she like gets up and she knees him in the face and like punches him. And then she sits down again and she just keeps. This is a big, heavy, fat woman. And it's a little kid in the corner. And she's like leaning on him and elbowing him. And these kids are coming home with bruises and stuff. Because you let this lady, I was beaten like that. Thanks, Mom. Day. Boo. Well, yeah. Well, that's a whole different topic about women disciplining. I'm okay with spanking, but not but the man needs to do it without anger. It needs to be like your father's going to talk to you when you get home, and then the kid gets to sit and think about it the whole time. And then as soon as dad walks in the door, the kid is shaking and dad comes in and says, "Come here. Bend over my knee. You know what's about to happen." Fwah! Yep. But not like punching your kid in the face or like whenever the kid walks in the door, you just like that stuff. There's a right way and a wrong way. There's a time and a place for everything. There's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And women should not be disciplining children like that. But anyway, so crazy story.
Many questions remain tonight about a story we're following closely for you. Video shows a young boy beaten on a school bus. An aide on
I thought I had different parents talking here, but this is pretty much the same thing. So, oh wait. So let's read this article from CPR News, CPR.org. Police said in her 7-month tenure as an assistant on a school bus for kids with special needs, she hit and physically abused at least 2 children by pulling their hair, elbowing them in the face, stomach, and back, and flicking their faces. Neither of the boys can talk, but both were crying during the episodes on the bus, police documents said. Parents of the boys said police told them they believe her abuse was systemic and frequent, and there are likely more victims. Systemic. Interesting choice of words there. I wonder if we're going to call it racism. It's racism. Not, I'd say if this is, we call everything else racism. We call everything else hate crime if it's a white person on a black person. But how come this isn't a racist hate crime from her towards the kid? But I'm sure in court they're going to say, well, it's due to racism in the school system that she felt this way and she had to act this way. Or something. It's gonna be some kind of mess. She'll probably get Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton on the case or Benjamin Crump. I literally bought her Christmas presents at Christmas time and tea when she wasn't feeling good, said Jessica Vestal, the mother of a slight 10-year-old boy with sandy hair who was repeatedly abused by Jones, according to the video footage on the bus. It's disgusting, and every day it was, oh, you guys are my favorite family on the bus. It's sick. It's insane, but he's safe now. This is the third known district in 7 years where a bus assistant reportedly abused children with disabilities. Wow. A Laramie County paraprofessional with a history of child abuse was accused of punching autistic kids on a Padre School District bus in May 2023. And in Boulder in 2017, a woman was convicted of abusing a disabled girl on a school bus repeatedly for 7 days. Kevin Yarbrough's son is believed to be a victim, according to police, because he had an unexplained broken foot bone in the fall, and Jones was reportedly stomping on the children's feet. At a press conference on Tuesday, Yarbrough said he felt like he failed his son. Well, don't put your kids in these. Well, but it's not even a public school. It's a school for kids with special needs. So it's like none of these school systems are safe. The private schools aren't that much better. The what are they called in Democrat cities? Charter schools. Democrat cities, we have one here in Utah. We have charter schools, which is basically like a public private school for city kids, for parents of city kids who want to drive extra farther to get their kid in a nicer school. But it's still the same thing. It's still got all the liberal teachers teaching nonsense. It's just basically a public school with uniforms. And yeah, stop. This is not the way that mankind is supposed to work. We're not supposed to rent our kids out to somebody for more than a third of their waking life. You know, from the time that they're in K3, K2 now. I heard they got K2 now. They got preschool. From the time the kid's 2 years old to the time the kid's 18 years old, the kid gets freaking rented out to strangers all day, every day. For the majority of their waking life, they are not with their parents. They're either sleeping or they're at school. What do they get? How much time do they spend with their family? Maybe 3 or 4 hours of their waking day. I'm not talking about when they're sleeping. I'm talking about their waking hours. When they're awake, how much time? What percentage from birth to 18? What percentage of a kid's waking life is he not with his parents? He's with strangers. Probably more than 50% of their waking time. So, yeah, you kind of did fail them. I'm here today because I failed, he said. I failed him by trusting that the ladies on the bus and the people of the Littleton School District would also be there to protect him. Yeah, he's right. I had assumed that when his teachers had a rough time getting off the bus, that there wasn't a grown woman who was verbally and physically torturing my son and his friends. My son doesn't have the ability to tell me when the school is hurting him. In a video released Tuesday by civil rights attorneys, Jones can be seen in the camera footage from the bus elbowing his son in the torso and shoulders and stomping on his foot. March 19, 2024, he came home that day with a large bruise on the top of his foot. It looked like a bowling ball was dropped on it. Well, it was a big black ball. It was, yeah. She does kind of look like a bowling ball. I would agree with that. She called the police, and that was Jones' last day at work, she said. Jones has no criminal history except for some driving infractions. A public profile of her shows that she worked as a dispatcher for a towing company before getting the job. Blah, blah, blah. Background check. She was fired on March 19th. Anyway, she was pulling the hair of another student. So, crazy story. Like, this lady. And what do you think's going to happen? She's going to get a slap on the wrist? This is in Colorado. What a mess. What a mess. That's evil. And that is what evil looks like. Let me show you what evil looks like. I like when Jesse used to say that all the time. He'd say, in this next story, I'm going to show you what evil looks like. Well, that's what evil looks like right there. So that's that. Next, speaking of JLP and the Bond Network, they've been talking about this all week. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because they've kind of had the debate on the show and they've went into depth about this, the dangers of this, but also some people see it as the right decision. I don't know, but we'll talk about the Crumbley parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, which is I think his name is Ethan Crumbley, was the school shooter. We covered this story when it happened on the show, and we talked about this because when this happened, there was a lot of talks about charging the parents, and they did end up charging the parents. He did a school shooting, and I, I want to pull up a story. I want to pull up a story that to update us on what happened in the shooting because it's kind of important. How old was the kid when he did the shooting? Um, a lot of these things are important, but basically there were signs, drawings and stuff, bloody drawings. But let me tell you something. All kids, not all kids, but a lot of kids, especially boys, I did draw graphic drawings and stuff. I used to draw comic books and I loved gore and I loved horror when I was a kid. When I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I was drawing violent drawings. Um, so is that really like really a sign? He drew some bloody drawings. Like me and all my friends who were into drawing, we were all drawing some violent drawings with blood and people, you know. All my drawings had somebody with a gun or somebody with a, losing a limb and bloody. Like I used to draw pictures of I drew a picture of a woman giving birth to an alien and the alien was ripping the doctor's head off. When I was a kid, I drew that. So, um so I'm just saying, I don't know if that's what it's signed, but apparently the parents bought the gun for him, which I mean, parents buying their kids guns, I don't think that's should be illegal. If you want to teach them about gun safety and stuff, teach them about hunting. I had friends who used to go hunting with their parents when they were kids. So, what's up, Eva? You said your son was autistic? I didn't know that. Thank you, a bowling ball. I knew she looked familiar. Then I got out of my car and went to help her and she figured it out. What story are you telling, Thomas? You should recreate that drawing live today. Actually, I think I still have it somewhere in my closet. And actually, I don't think I was a kid when I drew that. Well, I think I drew it when I was a kid and then I drew it better when I got older. And I have the older one when I drew it when I was older and it looks a lot better. I got drawings of people with their eyeballs being held open by robots and their mouth is being sewn shut, like crazy stuff like that. One of my favorite artists, which now I realize he was a demonic guy. I forget his name, but he is the artist. He's the artist that came up with the design for the xenomorph. I wish I could remember his name. The aliens. You know the movie Aliens? The guy that came up with the design for the aliens, he draws those aliens in a lot of his drawings. You know that alien's head is supposed to look like a penis. The xenomorph. Um, it's the long head on the xenomorph on the black aliens from the movie Aliens. That head, he he designed that to look like a penis because if you look at his drawings and his art, um, it's all like penis head aliens and Baphomets and demons and stuff. And I was into that stuff when I was young, but I didn't even realize all the demonic imagery in it and stuff like that. Let me see if I can show you guys what I'm talking about. he designed the mic stand for the singer of Korn. H.R. Geiger is his name. So, as you can see, this is the original xenomorph right here. H.R. Geiger. I liked his art because it's so detailed and it's like so graphic, but the horrible philosophy behind the star of Alien, H.R. Geiger's xenomorph. This is the original xenomorph. So, if you notice, they kind of changed it a little bit for the movie, but that's that this is what this guy's art was like. But he designed the mic stand for the singer of Korn. It looks kind of like this, but that's not the mic stand. But some of his art, let me see. I got to be careful because he's got some stuff that I don't think I can show on YouTube. So I got to be careful with this. Let me see. Yeah, and like see he does sculptures and he does art and stuff like and you see all the imagery of like all these shapes in the background, things like this, like a Baphomet. This is Necronomicon and the Biomechanical Nightmare. H.R. Geiger's Necronomicon and the Biomechanical Nightmares. Which I don't know if he wrote Necronomicon. Oh, I guess he did write Necronomicon. Yeah. So, and it's kind of demonic stuff. But when I was a kid, stuff like this is like the stuff I drew. Stuff like that. It's not good stuff. But anyway, my point is, I never went on a school shooting. Here it is. This is the mic stand. This is the mic stand for the singer of Korn. This was designed by H.R. Geiger. But anyway, I drew stuff like this. And I never went on a school shooting massacre. That's my only point. Anyway, so, but the parents, anyway, were charged and they were convicted. They were found guilty. They're looking at 10 to 15 years in prison. Now, what does this precedent set for the future when kids do horrible things? And which is coming more and more frequent, more and more common. Parenting's getting worse. School system's getting worse. The kids are getting more aggressive and violent. Violence is being normalized. And self-defense, parents, gun rights, castle doctrine, all of these things are coming under question to make law-abiding citizens less safe and criminals more empowered, is what we see happening. So, in a groundbreaking verdict, a Michigan jury on Thursday found James Crumbley, whose son killed 4 students at his high school in 2021, guilty of involuntary manslaughter, a result experts say could set an important precedent for the extent to which parents of school shooters can be held responsible. Just last month, like, what about the kid that, remember that, like, he was like 7 years old and he had a gun that he took from his mom's dresser in his thing? Should she be charged? If he went into her room and took her gun, she didn't have it locked up, so she should be charged for that? You got a Necronomicon tattoo? Yeah, that stuff's demonic, Terry. I know you ain't about that life no more. Alien designer Geiger came up with the originated from the Dune concept art. Yeah, I mean, I still think he's still one of my favorite artists just because his style, the dark, like, very detailed. Like, my friend had a book in middle school and he showed me a book of all his art and he has huge pieces of like city skyscapes and there's aliens and there's demons and there's and you just look through and you find all these little Easter eggs of different little details, and every time you look at it, you can find something different. It's very detailed, dark stuff, and I like that style. But anyway, back to the story. Just last month, the shooter's mother, Jennifer Crumbley, was convicted of the same 4 charges, making her the first parent ever held directly responsible for a mass shooting committed by their child. We're living in a new world now, and that new world is a prosecutor saying, if we're not going to have legislation, if we're not going to have a significant protections, we're going to take it upon ourselves to use the law in a way that gets accountability to everyone and anyone who could have potentially been involved. CNN legal analysis Joey Jackson told CNN's Aaron Burkett on Thursday. Well, what about the teachers? Maybe we should lock the teachers up too. Prosecutors during his week-long trial argued James Crumbley was grossly negligent. He bought a 6-hour 9mm gun for his son 4 days before the attack, failed to properly secure it, ignored his son's downward spiraling mental health, and did not take responsible care to prevent foreseeable danger, prosecutors said. So this is like what Joel was saying. And I only keep bringing them up because, I'm not trying to report on their reporting, but that's the main news that I watch. The daily news that I watch is from that network. So I've been hearing their commentary on it. And so that's what I have to. The main stuff that I've heard about it was been from Bond. So, and they had a good debate about it. And I don't think I agree with Joel about seeing the signs, because kids are crazy. Like JLP said, kids are crazy. All kids are crazy, especially when parents are crazy. Those signs may not mean anything. But what they want you to do with stuff like this is when you think you see a sign, take your kid to the child psychologist. Take your kid to the child psychiatrist. Get them on some pills, because these boys are crazy out here. They're aggressive and they're evil. We need to get them all on meds. So when you see the signs, what you're supposed to do is go put your kids on some more medications. That's what they want you to do. When really the signs could be just a boy being a boy. Nothing wrong with that, JS. I was drawing comics with warriors. Yeah, I liked stuff like that too. Fight scenes, superhero stuff. But I liked Dragon Ball Uncut because the edited Dragon Ball that they showed on Cartoon Network didn't show blood. When Piccolo grabs dude's arms behind his back and sticks his knee into the dude's back and rips the guy's arms off, they didn't show that on Cartoon Network, but they showed it on the uncut VHS tapes that you could get at Suncoast Video. And I was like, I don't even want to watch Dragon Ball on Cartoon Network, because what's a fight show without blood? Anybody who tells you Dragon Ball is a children's show, no, it is not. No, it is not a children's show. What are you talking about? They rip people's faces off. They disintegrate people with energy beams, and it's not a children's show. It's like maybe when you're like 12, 13, then you can. But I wouldn't be showing my 8-year-old Dragon Ball. I was playing demonic games. Play demonic games, win demonic prizes. Piccolo is based. Yes. Bro, that was so cool. He sneaks up behind him, grabs him by the arms, puts his knee in his back, and pulls like this with his knee up in his back, and just rips the dude's arms off behind him. It's like, what? Let's go. Or when Gohan kills all the Cell Juniors, he's like grabs one by the face and crushes his skull, and his eyeballs pop out between his fingers. Like stuff like that. Is that a sign? Is that a sign that you're going to be a school shooter? You need to go see the child psychologist? Like, they're not dolls. They're action figures, right? It's not a cartoon. It's a male animated soap opera with fighting. It's not a cartoon. It's not an anime. It's a damn animated chronology of epicness for young for teenage and up boys. And Dragon Ball Z, Nick was talking about Dragon Ball Z, and he said Dragon Ball was cooler than Dragon Ball Z or something. He said, I kind of like Dragon Ball more. Dragon Ball was goofy and weird and not for children either. The very first episode of Dragon Ball, he sees Bulma naked in the shower, and he's like, what's that? I have this. And he pulls down his pants, and you see his little wee-wee. And you see Bulma naked in the shower. In the first episode of Dragon Ball. It's not a kid's show. Now I can't even watch Family Guy. But anyway, so they're being charged. They're looking at 10 to 15 years. Prosecutors during his week-long trial argued James Crumbley was grossly negligent. I already read that. They also argued the shooting could have been prevented if James and Jennifer had listened to the school counselor's recommendation and taken their son out of school on the day of shooting, or if they had mentioned to school employees they had just bought him a gun. Why would you tell school employees that you just bought your 15-year-old kid a gun? And that's 15. That's 15. 15 years old is old enough to buy a kid a gun. That's old enough for a kid to be drawing some graphic drawings, and it's not a sign that they're going to be a school shooter. These things are not, they're mutually exclusive. Just because he was drawing these drawings does not mean he's going to be a school shooter. He was drawing those drawings and saying those things and stuff, and he did become a school shooter. But that doesn't mean that every kid that does those sort of things, every kid that has a gun and draws some violent pictures is going to be a school shooter. No, that's not what that means. And it also doesn't mean that if you see that, you need to rush your kid to a psychiatrist and get them on some medications. Maybe the kid shouldn't have been in public school in the first place. Maybe we need to lock up the school teachers and the principals and the counselors and the psychiatrists, the psychologists. Maybe that's what we need to do. But that's that. Well, let's read a little more. It's not true that finding James Crumbley guilty of gross negligence would result in a criminal charge for every parent who doesn't know what their child is doing at all times, she said, noting he didn't face the same normal challenges as parents that we all go through. Indeed, the elder Crumbley's cases were so uncommon that their impact will likely be limited, hopefully. Frank Vandervoort, clinical professor of law at the University of Michigan Law School, said prior to the trials in January, I don't anticipate there's going to be a lot of this kind of thing filed. I think this is a pretty unique case, he said. It's hard to talk about shootings by teenagers as being run-of-the-mill unless you've got really unusual factual situations. I don't anticipate a lot of parents getting charged. Hopefully not. Could the verdict set a new bar? That's kind of what they just addressed. But stop clicking that. Get out of here. While parents can be held responsible for their child's actions, down even to truancy, the level of severity in the case of the Crumbley parents is different. We do impose on parents certain obligations regarding their children. To say you have a heightened degree of responsibility for what happens when your kids do things, that's generally in the law, he said. The severity of the charges, I think, are what's unique here. So, pretty crazy. Case focused on mental health and gun security. Exactly. It's about guns, and it's about young kids' mental health problems. And you know what they say, the jokes that all the white kids are school shooters. You know, white kids are school shooters, because they don't actually, they put all this stuff on the news. They don't talk about some of the other crimes as much done by other races of children. So, yeah, this is put all the white kids on medications, turn them into zombies as young boys, make sure that they're never able to get a gun, because once they diagnose you with some of this stuff that they're diagnosing young boys with, once they start putting you on medications, your chances of being a drug addict skyrocket. If you put a kid on ADHD meds or something when they're very young, the chances that kid is going to be a drug addict when they get older skyrocket, because you're putting a kid on meth. You're putting a kid on prescription meth, and they're going to grow a tolerance. And then they get into the cycle of where every 6 months they have to change to a new medication because the old one's not working anymore. They got the tolerance. Now they're on another med and another med and another med. And then when they're adults, they're drug addicts and they can't own a gun because of red flag laws. They're going to say they're not mentally fit to own a gun. And that is bad parenting and bad schools. The parents are to blame. The school is to blame. The world is to blame. But can you blame a kid? I think you can blame a kid past a certain age. I think maybe what we call adults, 18. In the past, an adult was 14. When you're 15, you're a man. In the old days. Now, not so much. But I think you do have agency and you do have reasoning when you're 15 years old. I don't think the parents should have been charged with this. I think, or maybe something, but not 10 to 15 years in prison. And what happened to the kid? Did he take his own life? Or, see, that's kind of why I want some updates on the shooting and what happened in that story. But we covered that when it happened a long time ago. And we talked about this. I said, yeah, they're going to charge the parents. These parents are going to get screwed over. So I don't know. It's a tough one. 10 to 15 years, I think, is too much. But something, I'm not totally against holding the parents responsible, but when not with a 15-year-old kid, if it's like the case with the 7-year-old elementary school kid that got his mom's gun and went to school and shot the teacher, that mom probably needs to be held responsible for that. Because that's a small child and she left her gun unattended. Whereas this is a 15-year-old kid. The parents bought the gun for him. I don't know, man. It's tough. I can't really take hard stances on this stuff because I don't know the people. I don't know how their life was. We don't see these things. We only see what goes on in court. But don't get Joel started. Orion, great song from Metallica. It was before they went gay. Yep, there's a lot of blame to go around. All right, so that's that. Not over yet. We got more. Lock the legal drug pushers up. Right. Lock the psychiatrists up. I'm sure this kid was on medications. I'm sure he had a history with that stuff. So, I don't know. It's a tough one. Now, let's go on to another case from... This actually happened about a month ago, and I never covered it, but it's just now coming to light. Are they trying to set us up for Derek Chauvin, George Floyd 2.0 here? You know? This stuff is going to heat up. There's going to be more and more of this stuff as we get closer to the election. Told y'all it's going to be a crazy year. So, Chicago police superintendent says officers in Dexter Reed shooting won't be stripped of police powers for now. Dexter Reed was shot 96 times, and the way the media reports on it was basically saying officers kill black man, shoot him 96 times. And they were all leaving out in their reporting that he shot at them first. He started shooting at them. He shot somewhere between 8 and 11 times at the officers, and then all the officers loaded him up and shot at him 96 times. But all the reporting is very one-sided. Basically, officers shoot man 96 times. They didn't say unarmed, luckily, this time. Because in the past, they've said unarmed when they weren't unarmed. Like Jacob Blake, the guy that was trying to stab the person, and the cop shot him. Remember that? And they didn't tell us that, he was stabbing a woman when he got shot. Oh, you left that part out, media. Media, you left out the part where he shot at the cops first, in this case. We'll watch the video. Let's see what the news reporting is saying about, for now, the officers will not be stripped of their powers, which is good. And it's just Chicago. Always some mess in Chicago. Let's see what this guy's talking about.
To read, Snelling is urging
from CBS Chicago.
People not to jump to conclusions until the investigation is complete.
But the videos released of the shootout are...
Right. Now you're backtracking, you're covering your trails because people jump to conclusions because of how you report on things.
Sparking debate across the city. CBS 2's Jermont Terry is live from Chicago Police Headquarters with more about the officers who fired their weapons. Jermont.
Eric and Joe.
Y'all realize that even if I went to like broadcasting school in my free time right now, if I wanted to be like a news person, I would never get hired because I'm not black.
Police Superintendent Larry Snelling refuses to pass judgment on those videos released this week. The superintendent insisting that he nor anyone can come to a conclusion until all the facts have been gathered. That includes COPA, who we are told have not had a chance to talk to those 5 officers as of yet. By now, just about everyone has seen this deadly shootout with 5 CPD tactical officers and Dexter Reed. Yet days after the Civilian Office of Police Accountability released the body-worn cameras and what COPA and Mayor Brandon Johnson called transparency, Superintendent Larry Snelling speaks out about why he won't spoil their police powers.
I will not make a decision to strip officers until that investigation unfolds.
Now, are they going to show the mayor? The first thing the mayor said when he came out and addressed this was to talk about racism. Another young black man shot by the police. It's so tough being black out here in Chicago. That's what the mayor, when the mayor got up on the stage and was talking about this, the press meeting, the first 5 sentences were about racism. And that's why people jump to conclusions. That's why we get BLM riots where they burn down cities. Luckily, BLM seems to be bacon, lettuce, mayonnaise, bacon, lettuce, and maters, burn, loot, murder. You know, the Black Loser Militia. They seem to be in hiding. I think Patrisse Cullors took all of the $4 billion in donations and bought a bunch of houses, and she's just chilling. She got a content creation house where all of her family is living, making TikToks, and they don't have time to be rioting, man. They're trying to live off this money they got from all the liberal white women in America.
Investigation COPA continues to look into. COPA does not refute the officer's claim Reed fired first.
A police officer was shot. A man lost his life.
Nobody say anything.
Big lesbian millionaires. I like that one. Yeah. Yep. Then moving on up to the east side, moving on up. I don't have time to burn, loot, and murder. Yeah, because we're moving on up to fancy houses. We're making TikToks at the content creation house.
Yet these 5 tactical officers say they originally stopped Reed for not wearing a seatbelt, a claim the civilian agency is questioning since the white SUV had tinted windows.
We should let a proper investigation play out. Nothing and no one should be judged in the court of public opinion.
CBS 2 dug into the complaints filed.
Yeah, where were you guys at in 2020? Why weren't you saying that back then?
Against the 5 special ops members. Among them, they've had 14 complaints in just the last year, including several complaints during traffic stops.
So this is another one of those cases like the Memphis one where the cops in unmarked vehicles, they're like undercover gang unit team where they wear normal clothes, they drive around in Escalades that they seize from drug dealers and stuff. They look like gangsters and they run the streets like gangsters. That's what happened in Memphis. Similar case here.
Just 2 weeks before Reed was stopped, on March 6th, someone alleged 4 of the officers stopped him without justification. The complainant acknowledged his vehicle had tinted windows at the time of the stop. The complainant also alleged the accused searched his car without justification.
I have to do this when I sing. Then I can be like, we're moving on up. And also, if I want to sing like JLP, I got to mess the words up more. We're moving up to the West Place.
He He was given no tickets, no arrest. It remains under investigation. Back on March 1st, another citizen said one of the 5 showed unprofessional police conduct, also for an improper traffic stop and improper searches. This complaint is still under review. Some complaints to COPA date back a few years. In September 2022, a driver was pulled over for a traffic stop for a front-tinted windshield. The front seat occupants were ordered out and protested at first. The officers forcibly opened the passenger door and pulled him out and handcuffed. It goes.
So this is another. They're saying that this gang unit or this undercover unit has been known to be aggressive. So again, that's like the. Remember in Memphis where the guys got the guy out of the car and then he ran and then they chased him down the road and they beat him and kicked him while he was on the ground and stuff.
Goes on to say the officer.
It's kind of like that. So here's the body cam footage.
The Chicago Fraternal Order of Police have not responded to CBS News' request for comment, but an independent investigation says initial evidence shows the driver, 26-year-old Dexter Reed, fired the first shot.
This is an edited video. They're like cutting it up. You need to see. I know Crowder showed it this morning, the full video. I don't know if I should go find that.
The plainclothes officers say they had stopped Reed on suspicion of not wearing a seatbelt. Our Jared Hill has more.
See, that did not show the video how I want to see it. Let me see if I can pull it up on Crowder's thing real quick. On his show this morning. Is it this one? Let me see. I think it's yesterday's show. Trump makes Chick-fil-A great again. Media pushes George Floyd 2.0.
Carey.
Either way, he's.
Okay, I'm going to find it. There's Trump at Chick-fil-A. Okay, here we go. Yeah, because they got the full video, and you can see everything and hear the shots and all that.
Fired nearly 100 bullets. Okay, here's the truth. And there are a couple of claims there, right? Just a seatbelt violation. Oh, they just opened fire on a black man. Almost 100 bullets. Some of those things are true. Some of them are not. Here's the truth that you really need to know. The body cam footage clearly shows that Reed repeatedly fired at police officers first.
Roll the windows down. Roll the window down, man.
Now, some reports say 11 shots. We counted 8. Comment below what you hear.
Roll this one down. Roll that one down, too. Hey, don't roll the window up.
Wearing a stupid mask. Oh, these stupid masks. Take the stupid mask off. Oh, I'm so sick of it. And what's with rappers wearing ski masks now where it covers your job is speaking into a microphone. Why do you think that you should wear a ski mask that covers your mouth, you idiot?
Don't roll the window up.
He's rolling it up because he's about to shoot them.
Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Open the door now. Open the door now. Open the door now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
11-6-4, David. Shots fired. Shots fired. Hey! Shots fired.
And of course, while all the men surround the car and shoot at the guy, the woman runs away and hides behind a tree. And then she hides behind a fence. Let me tell you something. The tree was a better hiding place, lady. This fence is not going to protect you. You should have just stayed behind the tree, lady.
It's not good cover.
No, it's not.
Did you hear he said that's not good cover? Yeah, it's like you're trying to hide behind like a stop sign or something. That's not good cover. Stay behind the tree. Just hang out over there. They got it covered.
10-1.
She also decided to find better cover with a cheese grater. So hold on a second.
Okay.
And there's
the video. So he shot first. And of course, when the media first came out, they don't tell you that he shot first. They say officers shoot a black man 96 times. Why did she leave good cover? I know. She got behind a big old tree, and then she goes and gets behind a fence. Ladies, This is why ladies should not be police officers. Okay? Y'all can be dispatch, but he looks like hell. He's going through a lot of mess. He's going through some rough times. We'll pray for Crowder. But yeah, so luckily it's not looking like that's turning into George Floyd 2.0. Because like I said, BLM is busy making TikToks. But yeah, that's going on. Meanwhile, community reacts. Community reacts. This is from PBS. Community reacts to police shooting that killed Dexter Reed. How long is this video? It's 11 minutes long. I don't want to watch this. We're not going to watch this. Meanwhile, there's another mass shooting in Colorado yesterday. Leaves a young girl dead and 10 others injured. Chicago police believe a gang-related violence led to a fatal shooting of a young girl that also left 10 others injured Saturday night in the city's south side. So yeah, they always make the joke about white kids are school shooters. You never hear the joke about black kids kill more people in gang violence, often innocent people that are not even involved in the gang war, than anybody. But they don't give you, the FBI doesn't keep records on that anymore because the stats are racist. According to police, the shooting took place near 52nd Street and South Damon Avenue at approximately 9:18 p.m. A girl was killed from a gunshot wound to the head, while two boys, 1 and 7 years old, were critically injured after being shot multiple times. The girl who died was initially identified by police as an 8-year-old, but her father later told Telemundo and posted on social media that she was 9. Ooh, it might have been Hispanic gang violence, maybe some illegal immigrant shootings. We might see those start going up. We already are. Those people will get let out of jail tomorrow, or they'll get deported, and then they'll cross right back over the border the next day. Great. Deputy Police Chief Don Jerome said police aided in response efforts for the other 8 victims ranging in age from 19 to 40 by applying tourniquets and chest shields. The victims were reportedly standing outside at a family gathering. A statement released by the Chicago Police Department said victims saw a black sedan approach the scene when the shots rang out into the crowd. All victims were escorted to local hospitals around the area by the Chicago Fire Department. This was not a random act of violence. It was likely gang-related, Jerome said. Regardless of the motivation for this incident, 3 innocent children were struck tonight, and one of them tragically succumbed to her wounds. The offender's actions, make no mistake, are horrific and unacceptable in our city. Are they really unacceptable in your city? Because it happens every weekend. Every weekend. 100 people get shot in your city. So is it really unacceptable in your city? Let's ask Maxine Waters. Area 1 detectives are still investigating the incident and no arrests have been made. Is she still the mayor of Chicago? Is that Maxine Waters? Or am I getting is that somebody different? No. Lori Lightfoot. But she's out, right? They switched her. Who am I thinking of? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a Democrat cesspool. Like all of the Democrat cesspools. I'm sure there's a liberal woman in charge. Rest in peace, little ones. Ooh, get them. Ha, 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 get them. What is that thing after the orale? I don't know what that means. Telemundo orale. Orale. The mayor. What's the mayor? Have you heard of Mayor Dalton? The mayor of Dalton? I don't even know what Dalton is. Josh being racist, mixing the black queens. Yeah, I know. They're all the same to me. They all look the same. Oh, yeah, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Ooh, I said it 3 times. Lori Lightfoot's going to get me in my sleep. That's a nightmare. That's a horrible image. Could you imagine? You know, they talk about the tall hat man or like sleep paralysis, like sleep demons. Could you imagine if you had a Lori Lightfoot sleep demon that held you down while you slept? That'd be horrible. Everybody's going to have a nightmare tonight. Oh, man. Okay. So, yeah, lots of violence, lots of crazy stuff going on. We're going to switch gears right now. We're going to go to a different unrelated story to all that stuff. Earlier in the week, I did my response to Abolitionist Rising's pretty much rant against Trump supporters, because Trump came out and said something not super pro-life, I guess. And I don't want to make excuses for him, but I'm gonna. I'm gonna make some excuses, but what the fuck, JS? No. She doesn't want to think about Lori Lightfoot grabbing her in her sleep. Arizona passed an abortion ban that they're comparing it to a 1864 ban on abortion. And it's pretty much a total ban on abortion, which is super based, which is only possible because Roe v. Wade was overturned. And that was only possible because of Trump. So first we'll talk about the abortion ban, then we'll talk about Trump's response to it and Kamala Harris's response to it, because they're basically going at each other right now over this thing, and how the abolitionist types who are turning on Trump are really just feeding into you're doing exactly what the liberals want you to do. You're not going to vote, or you're going to vote for some third party candidate that nobody's ever heard of. And then we're going to lose, and we're all going to lose. You're going to lose. The abolitionists are going to lose. We're going to lose. Everybody's going to lose if Trump loses. But let's talk about this ban. So from AP, Phoenix, Arizona, the Arizona Supreme Court gave the go-ahead Tuesday to prepare to enforce a long-dormant law that bans nearly all abortions, drastically altering the legal landscape for terminating pregnancies in a state likely to have a key role in the presidential election. The law, predating Arizona's statehood, provides no exceptions for rape or incest and allows abortions only if the mother's life is in jeopardy. What's wrong with that? Sounds pretty base to me. Sounds like a good idea to me. Arizona's highest court suggested doctors can be prosecuted under the 1864 law. Based. I would think the abolitionists would like that. And I would think they would see that that's because of what Trump did. Though the opinion written by the court's majority didn't explicitly say that, the Tuesday decision threw out an earlier lower court decision that concluded doctors couldn't be charged for performing abortions in the first 15 weeks of presidency. How we got here. The Civil War era law, enacted long before Arizona became a state on February 14th, 1912, had been blocked since the U.S. Supreme Court's 1973 Roe v. Wade decision guaranteeing the constitutional right to an abortion nationwide. So, because that was overturned by the Supreme Court that Trump appointed, now we can put these laws back in. There's states that have total bans on abortion now because of that. And we talked about in my response to Russell's video, we talked about how the numbers of abortions have actually gone up in America since Roe v. Wade was overturned. But the numbers in states that banned it, because they were able to do that because of Roe v. Wade, the numbers have plummeted. So it's like what people are doing, and now what people are doing is they're just leaving those states and they're traveling to other states to get abortions in other states. So the numbers are going up in Democrat cities and Democrat states. The numbers have gone to almost zero in states that banned it. But the number overall across the country has gone up. So, it's not like things are getting better, but at least we have a way now where a state can ban an abortion if the people vote on it. That's democracy. But anyway, so Biden and Harris after this are blaming Trump. So here's Kamala Harris from CNN. Harris goes on the offensive over abortion rights in Arizona. Trump did this. That's what Kamala said. Joe Biden posted it on his Twitter. Well, Joe Biden didn't post it. Somebody posted it for him. He can't type. But they're both saying Trump did this. This is Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault that Arizona has banned abortions. Sounds good, right? Sounds like a good thing. Vice President Kamala Harris on Friday placed the blame squarely on Donald Trump as she went on the offensive over abortion rights in Arizona and across the country. In the wake of an Arizona Supreme Court ruling this week banning abortions in almost all cases, Harris headed to Arizona to mobilize voters who see November's election as a referendum on women's rights, one of the Biden campaign's key issues in the upcoming election, women's right to kill a child. The vice president has become a go-to voice for the campaign on abortion right. Well, she's the go-to voice, period, because you don't want to go to Joe Biden's voice. You want to hear what it sounds like when you go to Joe Biden to talk about the issues? Here, let me play you my short that I stole from Crowder. Let's see. Where's my channel? View your channel. This is what happens when you go to Joe Biden on the issues.
Prime Minister is going to travel to North Carolina tomorrow to visit that project. Don't stay. Including the Senkaku Islands is unwavering. Third, the next question. Who do I call on next? Hang on a second. I got my list here. Hang on. I apologize. We've agreed that we would, number one, have personal contact with one another whenever we wanted to discuss anything, so there'd be nothing slips between, they say, between the cup and the lip. Elect me.
What?
I'm in the 20th century, 21st century. Why didn't everybody holler at once? Prime Minister.
So that's what happens when you let Joe Biden be the voice of reason. So Kamala is stepping up to the plate. The decision which revived a 106-year-old. Okay, so we know about that. My only point for showing this is to show that Biden and Kamala are blaming Trump for Arizona banning abortions. Meanwhile, the abolitionists are pissed at Trump because he came out and said that this is too far. Trump said the Supreme Court in Arizona went too far on their abortion ruling, enacting and approving an inappropriate law from 1864. Trump wrote on Truth Social. So now the governor and the Arizona legislature must use heart, common sense, and act immediately to remedy what has happened. Remember, it is now up to the states and the goodwill of those that represent the people, Trump added, saying there would ideally be exceptions for cases of rape and incest and instances where the life of the mother is at risk. So, did we ever think that Trump was some hardline abolitionist? I'm asking the abolitionist types who are mad at Trump and they're saying they're not going to vote for Trump because he said that. He said that. They're freaking out. And I'm asking them, did we ever think that Trump was an abolitionist that wanted to jail women and hardline make no abortion? No, we never thought that. He never said that. He's still the most pro-life president we've ever had. And I know the abolitionists don't like the pro-lifers because they compromise. But in the political game in America, you have to compromise. You have to be able to find middle ground with the other side. That's the only way we move the goalpost. If you try to be an extreme and a radical and you go all the way, I understand that that's what we want. I agree with the abolitionist point. That's what we want. That's what we need. But that's not the options we have right now. We have to move the goalpost little by little by little. Next, in 2028, if we get Trump in, maybe some more states ban abortion, Then in 2028, we get a guy that's a little more stronger on the abortion position. And then maybe by 2032, if the world's not ended, we can get an abolitionist in there. But that's not the options we have right now. Our options are Joe Biden or Trump. And I promise you, if Joe Biden wins, there will be more and more and more abortions. So I understand why they're mad. I understand why they don't like this. And the super hardcore abolitionists, super pro-life types who are single issue voters, they really don't follow politics like that. They really don't care about policy, who's the right man for the job, who's going to help the economy, who's going to help us with foreign policy, who's going to help us not get into wars in every country in the world. Like, yeah, you want to stop babies from being killed? I get that. But what about soldiers being killed all over the world because we're spreading our military too thin? What about citizens being killed by illegal immigrants who are flooding across the borders? What about the people who are dying from all the fentanyl that's coming across the border? You know, you can't be a single issue voter. I don't want single issue voters voting. We need you voting. We need you voting because the way the system is set up, we need everybody to vote. We need every low propensity dummy who doesn't follow politics to get out there and vote, because the Democrats organize better than we do, and the Democrats are going to do it. Every pink-haired college Antifa kid is going to be voting. And now we have people that are actually smart people who are fighting for a cause, who are saying, I'm not going to vote for Trump because the only issue I really care about, he's not firm enough on it. It's not good. It's not good. It's not going to work out right. So the Democrats are blaming Trump. The abolitionists are blaming Trump. Everybody's blaming Trump. As usual. It's always his fault. Blame it on him. Trump's plea came after the Republicans in the Arizona legislature earlier this week blocked attempts from Democrats to undo the court-imposed ban on abortions. Anyway, so it's just repeating more of the same stuff. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs, who should not have won, by the way. Katie Hobbs is the lady who was scared to debate Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake won because she supported Trump. Now, Trump sees that Arizona did not vote in the Trump lady, right? Carrie Lake was the Trump lady. Arizona did not vote her in. So Trump is trying to be cautious. He's trying to be fair, and he's trying to be reasonable, and he's trying to say the right things to get the votes. We don't know what's in his heart. Maybe he knows that he just needs to say this to get in. And then maybe when he gets in, it gets more. We put more extreme bans. We do more. You know, maybe we get a nationwide 6-week abortion ban. That's better than nothing. It's better than what Joe Biden would give us. You know, I know we're not supposed to compromise with evil, but the way our system is set up, unless we completely revamp the system, the way our system is set up, you got to play the game. We've got to play the game. If you don't play the game, you're not going to win. You can't make any changes if Democrat dictators stay in office forever. If Joe Biden gets out, we get Joe Biden reelected, and then Kamala becomes president, and then we'll never win another election again. So, and also Russell did respond to me on Twitter. He said, that's what he said pretty much. He said, we don't compromise with evil. He said, basically, because I said, this is the wrong timing. It's election season. And he said, yeah, well, I hope now you know that even in election times, we do not compromise on evil. I get it. You stand firm, but so what's your solution? Your solution is not voting and Joe Biden wins, and pushing against Trump on your Twitter and stuff, getting all the abolitionist types to hate Trump so none of them go vote, or they all go vote for some libertarian or something. Like, who are they going to vote for? And then Joe Biden wins. So, not a good look, Russell. Let's see what this video is.
And outside the Beltway this week, the Arizona Supreme Court upheld a 160-year-old law that bans nearly all abortions in the state. No exceptions for rape or incest, and it may be possible to prosecute doctors under the...
I don't know why, and I've always said this, I don't know why they separate those two. They say no exceptions for rape or incest. Well, if you're talking about, why would there be an abortion exception for incest unless it's incestual grape? Like, if a father is graping his daughter, the incest doesn't matter. It's the grape that matters. And so I don't understand, like, if a brother and a sister, if it's not grape, it's just consensual incest, because if the incest is not consensual, then it's incestuous grape, and the grape is the problem. Incest is a problem too, but if it's consensual incest between like a brother and a sister, and she gets pregnant, and she goes to the abortion clinic and says, I want an abortion because it's my brother's kid. And they say, well, did he rape you? And she says, no, we do it for fun all the time, but he's my brother, so I want an abortion. Why would that abortion be excused just because it's incest? The incest is unimportant. What's important is the grape. Like, I can see the debate to be had about grape. Now my position's still going to be you don't punish an innocent child because of something an evil person does. But if it's consensual incest, that should not be excused. You see what I'm saying? Why do they say grape and incest? Why don't they just say grape? And then if it's incestuous grape, it's still grape. So the grape is the problem. But if two cousins are having consensual incestuous relations, and then they get pregnant and they say, well, I want an abortion because it's my cousin, but they didn't grape me. We do it by choice regularly. No, you don't get to have an abortion for that. Why did they say it like that? It doesn't make any sense. Y'all get what I'm saying? Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
The Civil War era law. The decision split the state's all-Republican Supreme Court that was expanded from 5 to 7 justices by Republican Governor Doug Ducey in 2016. Why is this happening now? Well, the century-old law is what's called a zombie law.
A zombie law?
What are zombie laws? They are...
Hey, good question. I had the same question.
Laws on the books that for one reason or another they become unconstitutional or unenforceable. And for 50 years, abortion laws, like the one in Arizona, it was rendered unconstitutional because the Supreme Court said there was a constitutional right to choose to have an abortion. But when the court reversed course...
Constitutional right to choose to kill somebody. Yeah, we got to love that Constitution, huh? You got a constitutional right to kill people. Demons have a constitutional right to carry guns and promote nasty evilness in America. But you got a right, and we have a right to tolerate that.
In Dobbs, these once dead laws were, like zombies, able to rise from the dead and roam the earth.
But does it? I don't know about that, Terry. It might imply it. Yeah, so incest does not imply grape. Maybe people assume that it implies grape, but a lot of incest is consensual. Incest is just sexual relations between people classed as being too closely related to marry each other. If you're too closely related to get married, then that's incest. And why would people even want to get married? So basically, it's people who are family, who are having sexual relations, but they can't get married because you're not allowed to marry your family. There's nothing that implies grape in the word incest. Now, maybe that's a cultural assumption that we make, but the word does not imply grape. And that's my point, is that if it's incestuous grape, then the grape is the problem, not the incest. If it's consensual incest, you don't get to kill the baby. You chose to do that with your brother or your cousin. And yeah, now maybe once the baby's born, you put those people in jail so they can't do it again. But you don't kill the baby because brother and sister were weirdos doing something freaky on Saturday nights. And then the girl gets pregnant. She said, well, it's my brother's. I want an abortion because it's incest and the baby might come out weird. No, you don't get that. You don't get that pass. In fact, you're going to have the baby and we're going to hopefully adopt it out to a normal family. And you're going to go to jail for making a baby out of incest. But there is no grape implied in the word incest. Ben and Grace this hell no. Gross enough. Please stop. Okay, I'm done. Ben and Grace, you're so messed up, Vivi.
Once more. The Arizona decision echoes a similar decision made by Florida's Supreme Court just 2 weeks ago, paving the way for the state's 6-week abortion ban, but also putting the question to voters in November, allowing them to decide whether there should be a constitutional amendment protecting the right to choose. This is going to be a major topic leading up to November. As
you don't get a right to choose murder. No. But anyway, that's all that. I got to move through quicker. That's it. That's it for the main story news. Okay. What else we got? What else we got? We got some funny reels. Little bit of rapid fire news. The grape is the problem. Racist. Tears to 29 places. What are you talking about, Thomas? Tomas? I don't want your flipper babies. No, that's... Oh, man. Not their Fansly page. I don't know about Fansly. How about the game last night, huh? What are you talking about, Bibby? All right. Let's watch some funny reels. Do some rapid fire news. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got for funny reels. All right. A little bit of check this guy out. This guy's a gangster. Hold on 1 second. Let me check something. Okay. Oh. Oh, did I lose one? How do I go back? Here we go. All right. Let's watch some funny reels real quick. This one's pretty cool. This guy's a gangster. Oh, he throws the frisbee. He flips the frisbee, catches the can, or he flips the can, catches it on the frisbee under his leg. Epic. Throws it back. The walk off. Boom! Smooth. Not so smooth. And he gets whacked in the face. That's funny. Okay. This is funny. This is a silent party. So this is a club, and they all have headphones on to listen to the music. And it's called a silent party. This is crazy. Look at this. What the heck? Okay. This was funny. Look at this cool little boy. This little boy's a little pimp. He handled it like a real man, it says.
Hurry up, come on.
She said, I need you. I need you.
You got me. I need you to take care of that problem right there.
Right
it's
now.
Too big.
It's too big. I need you to take care of that problem right now. It's too big. It's a bug on the wall. He's got a broom. He's going to get it.
You gonna hit it?
Get back, get back, get back.
Okay.
Get back, get back.
Don't miss it.
Y'all get back. Get back.
Hurry up before he jump.
Hurry up before he
that
jump.
Moving, I see.
Bro, black people are so funny.
You see that?
Oh, don't buffer. Don't buffer. We're buffering. No. Why are we buffering? Why are we buffering?
Move.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and ship him right there.
Handle it like a man, Spoonie. You got these.
Spoonie.
I got it.
What are you doing? Come on, Spoonie.
One more time. It's so funny. This is nice.
Hurry up. Come on. I need you.
I got you.
You got me. I need you to take care of that problem right there. It's too big.
It's too big, so sit him now.
You gonna hit it?
Get back, get back, get back.
Okay. Don't miss it.
Y'all get back. Get back.
Hurry up before he jump. He that leg moving, I see. You see that leg moving?
Yes, ma'am. I'll go ahead and ship him right there.
Handle it like a man, Spoonie. You got these.
I got it.
What are you doing? Come on.
That's awesome. Melania on the campaign trail. Let me see. Copy link address. We'll play it. We'll play it when I'm done with all this stuff.
If you can't donate today, don't.
All right. Hold on. All right, one last one. This is that girl that I played the thing from last week. Smart girl. Funny stuff if you like intellectual stuff.
Started with me.
So this is inventions hanging out. So it said the wheel. It said everything started with me. This is currency.
Hang on. Is she serious right
Language,
now? Just so we're all clear,
fire.
civilization wouldn't even exist without me. For the last time, fire, you
Light
were
bulb.
harnessed, not invented. You're not even in this club. Mother. Stop fighting, children. Look, we all have our place in human history, from the jaunty little trinkets to the catalyst of the Industrial Revolution who facilitated the global trade of goods. And I'll take the spread of ideas over the spread of goods any day, but you do you. I mean, if we're talking about who's most responsible for the spread of ideas... Hey, just remember, some of yous would have still been science fiction without us material guys, eh? That's a good point.
Computer.
Hello.
AI.
Hi. Can I have a seat at your table? Will you be a net good for humanity? Of course. Humans have come so far.
Anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool. All right. Enough reels. I don't have any memes tonight. That little guy was awesome. Yeah, the kid was funny. All right. Enough reels. Let's do some rapid fire news, just some headlines, some quick stories. Floridians battle the 5th highest inflation rate in the nation. There's going to be an
With
ad.
AI,
I don't want to see your ad. Floridians are battling the 5th highest inflation in the nation, according to statistics released by Moody's Analytics on Thursday afternoon. We certainly have to budget now to get these necessities, St. Pete residents say.
Inflation as anybody else in the U.S. right now. It's nearly 4% here, whereas nationwide in March, it's about half a point rather lower.
Fox 13's Evan Axelbank shows us how it's impacting families right here at home.
Floridians have become victims of Florida's success. So many people have moved here that prices were bound to go up.
Yeah, because every other place is a hellhole, a Democrat hellhole.
And they have. Gail of St. Pete Beach has a question. If you can't make it in Florida, can you make it anywhere?
We certainly have to budget differently now to get even the necessities.
Said that average person needs $12,000 more a year than they did in 2020 to have to maintain the same lifestyle. 2 years later, from 2021 to now, a little over 2 years, you now need $12,600 extra every year to sustain the same life.
I'm glad that I don't have a young family anymore because I don't know how they're making ends meet.
At 3.99.
I didn't collect the memes, man. I rushed the show. I didn't collect any memes. Sorry, producer.
According to Moody's Analytics, Florida has the 5th highest inflation rate in the nation, only a few tenths of a point from the top, nearly tied with California, and a half point higher than Texas. Florida now has 200,000 more people than it did last year.
So more people moving in has put a lot of upward pressure on house prices, for example. That upward pressure exists everywhere, but it's been significantly stronger in Florida.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says in Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
year over year, food...
Right, and we're not supposed to believe our lying eyes, Matthew. We're not supposed to believe that everything is more expensive. Everything. And everything is made crappier. You pay more, you get less. But we're supposed to believe our economy is booming right now. We're doing great. We're doing great.
Food prices are up by 0.8 of a point. Statista says the median home in Florida is now $410,000.
Wow.
Up from $264,000 in 2019.
Wow. Double. What did he say? 264 to 410? Wow. Almost double.
before the pandemic. During a press conference Wednesday in St. Pete, the governor laid inflation at the feet of the federal government.
We don't control the national economy. We're just a very small sliver with our state budget.
The good news, though, is that economists don't expect inflation to bash on forever. Moody's called recent inflation surprising and says it'll be a year.
Yeah, well, inflation will stop when the economy collapses and the American dollar is destroyed. You're right.
Before it recedes to normal levels. Economists expect increases in housing and gas to slow.
We're not doomed to these sort of high inflation readings forever, but clearly these high prices are proving a bit more persistent than a lot of people thought.
Of course, relief.
Not anybody who's paying any attention to the world at all. If you pay any attention and you know that when the Democrats get elected, crap like this happens. When Joe Biden got into office, I knew everything was going to go to shit. What do you mean? Nobody should be surprised by this unless you're not paying any attention to the world around you.
Relief is always a day late.
My kids, they're struggling a little bit, trying to find like places to live and everything. With the market right now, it's not easy.
The target inflation rate is about 2%, which means that Florida is about double that. This, of course, affects almost every country in the world, including every G20 country. The good news is that real wages and the job market have both been strong. Evan Axelbank, Fox 13 News.
Okay, so Florida's inflation skyrocketing. The whole country's inflation is skyrocketing. We're going to save this one for last because this actually will probably be like main story news next week because we're about to be in World War III. But let's look at an update on House Speaker Mike Johnson. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he will push for aid to Israel and Ukraine this week. Oh, really? Oh, thanks, House Speaker Mike Johnson. Look at Trump behind him like, no, well, I don't know about this. House Speaker Mike Johnson said Sunday he will try to advance wartime aid for Israel this week as he attempts the difficult task of winning House approval for a national security package that also includes funding for Ukraine and allies in Asia. Johnson, Republican from Louisiana, is already under immense political pressure from his fellow GOP lawmakers as he tries to stretch between the Republican Party's divided support for helping Kiev defend itself from Moscow's invasion. The Republican speaker has sat for 2 months on a $95 billion supplemental package that would send support to the U.S. allies, as well as provide humanitarian aid for civilians in Ukraine and Gaza and funding to replenish U.S. weapons provided to Taiwan. Right, there you go, China. We're about to be at war with China, Iran, and all of the Middle East, and Russia, our three biggest enemies. We're about to be in war with all of them at the same time. If Joe Biden wins, we're going to be in World War III with China, Russia, and the Middle East all at the same time. And we're going to be supporting three little slivers of countries, Taiwan, Ukraine, and Israel, and spreading our military thinly across the whole world while our border is wide open and while we're attacked from the inside, our military is going to get decimated. Our LGBTQ-friendly military is going to be fighting Russia, China, and all of the Middle East at the same time while our border is open. Do you understand? Do you understand what this means? While people are going broke and poor from inflation, while our economy is crippled, while our dollar is destroyed and BRICS takes over the dollar, all of our enemies joins their currency together, and we have to fight them. It's not good. It's not no bueno. This is not looking good. Meanwhile, Mike Johnson wants to send some money to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Thanks, buddy. Good job, Mike. Good job, Mike. Mike Johnson. The attack by Iran on Israel early Sunday further ratcheted up the pressure on Johnson, but also gave him an opportunity to underscore the urgency of approving the funding. Yeah, so that's another big story this week. Iran attacked Israel. We will save that one for the end because it's kind of a big story. It shouldn't be in rapid fire, but we had a lot of stuff to talk about this week. So maybe next week we'll dig deeper into this stuff because, I mean, I knew this was going to happen. As soon as the fighting started over there, I knew Iran was going to step in, and it's going to be a problem. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Weather update. nationwide weather update. 70 million Americans under severe weather threat from the Northeast to the Midwest. We have earthquakes, storms, tornadoes, fires, lasers from space, hurricanes, unprecedented weather. Severe weather is projected to impact 70 million Americans from the Northeast Sunday through Tuesday in the Midwest. Storm Prediction Center has issued an enhanced risk outlook for the multi-region storm system, designated at a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. So more severe weather coming in. There's your weekly weather update, weekly national weather, natural disasters report. Some local news from Salt Lake City. We had another shooting, more violence. Police search for victims suspected of reported shooting in Salt Lake City neighborhood. Let's see if I can play it without an ad. It's going to play an ad. Officials are searching for a possible victim and suspect of a reported shooting in the Liberty Wells neighborhood of Salt Lake City. That's right by where I live. They arrived to the area of 200 East Kensington Avenue after several 911 calls.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We're on
just
late
watch the
because of
report.
Masters Golf. I'm Brian Malay.
And I'm Mallory Moore.
We're on late to tell you about this shooting because golf.
We start with breaking news right now. A shooting near Salt Lake's Liberty Park. It happened within the last 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, bro, this is right down the street from me. This apartment building. So this street, if you keep coming this way up this street, I'm like 2 blocks away from this place. This is like right around the corner from where I live.
Near 200 East Kensington Avenue. Now, police say when they got word of the shooting, they responded very quickly, but they could not locate any victims or suspects. When they arrived, they found a pool of blood on the ground.
Despite the fast response from our police officers here, we have very little information.
I skateboard down this sidewalk pretty frequently because it's downhill and up the street this way a little bit. There's a little shopping center. And I can just jump on this sidewalk and skate downhill the whole time. And I skate by this apartment building all the time.
About the victim or victims or even the suspect or suspects. So again, our big ask is for people in this area or people.
No docs, please. It ain't hard to find me. It ain't hard to find me. All the little Salt Lake Antifa, they know where I'm at.
In the community.
They don't want the smoke.
Who happen to know anything about this case to contact the Salt Lake City Police Department.
No, several roads were closed while police gathered evidence, and police say those roads are expected to open up shortly.
What is this? Anyway, so local news for me. Shooting in Salt Lake City. That's what happens when you start moving all the immigrants from the blue sanctuary cities into red states. Anyway. Okay. OJ died this week. R.I.P. to Juice. R.I.P. to Juice. But there's legal stuff. Why can't I close this advertisement? Get this advertisement out of here so I can read the article. I can't read the headline. Get this out of here. Legal battle looms. Simpson owed Goldman and Brown's family at least $33.5 million after he was found liable. So basically they're saying there's a lawsuit going around. He died this week. From heart. What did he die from? Battle with cancer or heart failure or something. But he died this week. The case, though, he still owes a lot of money. So an attorney for Ron Goldman's father claims that O.J. Simpson, who was famously and controversially acquitted of murdering Ron and Nicole Brown Simpson, owed the Golden family more than $100 million prior to his death. Simpson, who died at the age of 76 on April 10th following a cancer diagnosis, had been ordered to pay the Goldman and Brown families $33.5 million after he was found liable in a wrongful death lawsuit in 1997. However, David Cook, who represents Ron's father, Fred Goldman, told People that their family has not seen that money owed, and it has since grown due to interest. So from $33 million to $100 million he owed them. He died without penance, Cook said of Simpson. He did not want to give a dime, a nickel to Fred. Never, anything, never. Cook said they renewed the court judgment in 2022. Legal filings from that year reportedly showing that Simpson had only paid the family $133,000 since the 1997 trial. according to the New York Post and the Bleacher Report. He still owes on the current status of the judgment, Cook told People. He noted that due to Simpson's failure to pay the family, the money owed with interest has blown up to over $114 million as of this year. He said that previous lawyers in the family had sought to obtain pensions that Simpson received from the NFL, but they went nowhere with it. Lawyers also potentially looked at obtaining the money from Simpson's trust as well, but they kept hitting a wall. The family did have a small win in court, obtaining the rights to a book Simpson had been writing called If I Did It, and made some money off the sales of that. Despite previous failings, Cook said the family is looking at hiring attorneys in Nevada, Florida, and California to determine what can be done. He said the first step is figuring out where Simpson's money will go after his death and figuring out how much money he is passing on. We need to get a lawyer or a number of lawyers who deal with this, very smart people, to determine who it is, who it would be, and start taking depositions from people and finding out who they are and what information we need. It's a big deal. But one of the guys said they're not going to see a dime. One of OJ's lawyers, he said they're not going to see a dime. Following the news of Simpson's death, Fred told People that it was a reminder of his loss. Yeah, so OJ died owing $114 million. He never paid a dime to these families. He got away with murder. And yeah, and now he didn't pay the money he owed, so he did. All right. So we got, before we do Isreal, Iran to wrap up the show or wrap up all the news, here's an interesting story for you. Oldest living conjoined twins, Lori and George Chappell, die at age 62. What? What a sad story. 62 years old, they made it connected at the forehead. This is crazy. This is not a feel-good story, but it's an interesting one. This music's probably going to be copyright, so look at that. 62 years old. They lived connected at the forehead. Wow. Is that nuts or what? It is kind of amazing. Wow, that's wild, dude. This is a sad one, guys. This is sad. Look at how they share one eyeball. Like they're connected right here. And I think there's only one eyeball here. And it's interesting how they both kind of have feminine and masculine traits. Like he kind of looks kind of feminine. She kind of looks, that's wild, dude. That's crazy. 62 years old. It does. It looks like a Salvador Dali painting. You know, it looks like a H.G. Geiger drawing. Okay, that's messed up. I wonder if they got along. They better. I hope they got along. They must have got along. They were basically joined at the hip. Haha. Bad joke, maybe. They were joined at the forehead. They had to watch two different TVs. Well, that little clip was put together by AP. That's sad. That's sad. But 62 years, there are people who got the dang coof Vaseline that will never make it to 62. These people did it conjoined. Conjoined twins Lori and George Chappell, who pursued separate careers, interests, and relationships during lives that defied medical expectations, died this month. They were 62. The twins, listed by Guinness World Records as the oldest living conjoined twins, died April 7th. According to obituaries posted, the cause of death was not detailed. When we were born, the doctors didn't think we'd make 30, but we proved them wrong, Lori said, when they turned 50. The Philadelphia Inquirer reported George came out as transgender in 2007. Okay. Well, to be fair, are you really transgender if you're conjoined to a woman? Aren't you like both genders technically already? That makes me sad. Wow. He came. I'm sure he came out. See, this guy coming out as transgender, is almost acceptable because I bet you they shared a lot of hormones and stuff. So both of them were kind of like a male and a female, right? Transgender, so no kids. I don't know if she did you see the shape of her body? I don't even know if the female of the two probably couldn't even have kids. I don't know. I don't know how all that stuff works downstairs, but man, when we were born, okay, so he came out as transgender. George came out as transgender in 2007. So I'm wondering if they were both women and George is the new name of the man, but it was actually two women and one of them transgendered to a man. I don't know. I don't know. It's confusing. The whole the whole transgender stuff is confusing as enough as it is. When you add in conjoined twins, you're really muddying the waters. To be fair, freaky dicky. Quad quadmophorite. What the? Almost as cool as having a. I don't want to read that because I don't know what that word means. I think they're both. You think they are both born female, and that George is the new name of one of the females who transgendered to male. I think you might be right about that. They might have both been born biologically female, and then one of them transgendered to male and called themselves George. I think you could be right about that. Because I did say George looked kind of feminine, but I just thought it was because there's probably mixed hormones and you get a little bit of this person's thing and they get a little bit of this. And I don't know. This is wild. I didn't even know that. I'm reading this right now. I only read the headline when I put it in here. Distinct brains, but were joined at the skull. George, who had spina bifida and was 4 inches shorter, was wheeled around by Lori on an adoptive wheeled stool. Wait, so the one that looked like a female in the chair was George? George went along for 6 years as Lori worked in a hospital laundry. Lori, a trophy-winning bowler, according to the obituary notice, gave up the job in 1996 so her sibling could launch a country music career. Since the age of 24, they have maintained their own residence and traveled extensively. They appeared in many documentaries and talk shows, as well as in an episode of the FX medical drama Nip Tuck. Philadelphia inquired that Lori was once engaged to be married, but that her fiancé died in an automobile accident. When I went on dates, Lori said, George would bring along books to read. Twins said in 1997, the documentary, that they had different bathing schedules and showered one at a time. George spoke of giving someone you love and respect the privacy and compromise in situations that you would want them to give you. Lori said compromise meant you don't get everything you want right when you want it. That's interesting. It isn't immediately clear who will now take the title of oldest living conjoined twins. The oldest ever documented were Ronnie and Donnie Galen, who died in 2020 at the age of 68. 19th century Siamese twins who gained fame as a circus act lived to be 63. Ing and Chang Bunker. The Shrapnel twins survivors include their father and 6 siblings. Private services are planned. So that's an interesting story. All right, now let's wrap up World War III. Iran launched more than 300 drones and missiles at Israel. Israel's got the Iron Dome that we paid for, that they don't share the technology with us. 99% of them were intercepted. So, let's see this. Watch these laser.
So are those the drones? Or are those the missile system?
That's it? That's the video? I didn't see anything. This is from AP. Booms and air raid sirens sounded across Israel Sunday after Iran launched hundreds of drones, ballistic missiles, and cruise missiles in an unprecedented revenge mission that pushed the Middle East closer to a region-wide war. A military spokesman said the launches numbered more than 300, but 99% of them were intercepted, calling the outcome a very significant strategic success. Rear Admiral Daniel Haggerty said Iran fired 170 drones, more than 30 cruise missiles, and more than 120 ballistic missiles. We probably paid for all that. Of those, several ballistic missiles reached Israeli territory, causing minor damage to an airbase. Rescuers said a 7-year-old girl in Bedouin Arab town was seriously wounded. Washington President Joe Biden said U.S. forces helped Israel down nearly all of the drones and missiles and pledged to convene allies to develop a unified response. So World War III is starting. Iran and Israel are at battle. Iran attacked Israel, escalating an already volatile conflict. Here's what we know. This is from NPR. Iran launched a massive barrage of over 300 missiles at Israel over the weekend in what is believed to be Iran's first direct attack on its regional foe from Iranian soil. Nearly all of the weapons were intercepted by Israel and its allies, including the United States. However, a few of the Iranian ballistic missiles made it through, severely injuring a 7-year-old girl and slightly damaging a military base. So maybe we'll look more deep into this as it develops. I'm not huge on the geopolitical stuff, but I do kind of try to give you guys a little reporting on it. And we'll keep our eye on that because it's getting wild. But yeah, World War III is starting. We're going to be at war with Middle East, Russia, and China. Epic. Good job, Joe. Good job, Joe Biden. All right, we're going to play one video that Lord Spike sent of Melania on the campaign trail because I love me some Melania.
Don't even think about it.
Floor is crazy. Floor's crazy. Floor thinks Jackie's hotter than Melania.
I know times are tough because Joe Biden has absolutely destroyed our country in so many different.
America is a place where you can be anything you want.
See, she doesn't look like she's had a ton of surgeries. She's had some work done. But if you see pictures of her when she's younger, when she's in Playboy, her face looked like that then too. She has that smoky eye, high cheekbones. She's always had that. She's probably had some work done because she's getting older, but she doesn't look like a plastic. You know, you see some where it's real bad. Hers doesn't look that bad.
Your opportunities are endless because.
And that accent, boy, let me tell you what. I like a woman that doesn't speak very good English. That's right. She's pretty. She is pretty. Jackie is a babe. Not only that, but South America is also in a state of war. Yeah, I know. Everywhere.
Our country provides so many chances to succeed. As First Lady of the United States, I know how much my husband loves the American people. And I know his passion in life is to see all the citizens of this great country do well and prosper. Donald is the businessman who never worked in politics, the ultimate outsider, and that earned him many enemies in the political establishment. I was shocked to discover that some of these powerful people have tried to paint my husband as anti-gay or against equality. Nothing could be further from the truth.
She's right about that. Trump was the most pro-gay president ever, too. He wasn't the least racist president. He's way less racist than Joe Biden. He was more pro-gay than a lot of people. He wasn't pushing gay policies and gay agendas, but he was putting gay people in his cabinet and in places of power, you know. And a lot of the anti-Trump people are like, they hate on him for that. He's a populist. He's not a theocrat. He's not a conservative. He's a populist. But he's going to do things we're not going to like because he's not a radical right-winger guy like a lot of the people in this chat are like, you know, he's more centrist. So you can't expect that sort of stuff from him. You can't expect that stuff. You have to expect him to be more middle ground. And there's going to be things he does that we don't agree with. But he's still anti-establishment. He's still the best guy for the job. He's still not going to have us in a bunch of foreign wars. He's going to deal with our enemies with strength, and they're going to listen to him because they know he's not playing games. He's going to make deals. He's going to get us out of wars. He's going to tighten up the border security. He has helped with abortion, at least opening doors for us to do things in states, which is happening. So if he waves a gay flag, who cares? Who cares? You're acting like a child. Grow up. Who cares? He waved a gay flag because some gay person was at the thing and they handed it to him and he waved it. He said, I love my gays. I love the gays. We're supposed to love everybody. That's Christ-like. You think if Jesus was doing a sermon and a gay guy walked up to him with a gay flag, Jesus would light the flag on fire? Maybe Jesus wouldn't wave it around, but Jesus would say, listen, I love you, but go and sin no more. You know? Trump is more Christ-like and more loving than a lot of these scumbag politicians.
Donald loves helping people, and he loves seeing those around him and his country succeed. As the leader of the Republican Party and President of the United States, Donald has been clear that gays and lesbians will be treated as he has always treated them, equally. Donald is the first president to enter the White House supporting gay marriage. Donald is also the first president to appoint an openly gay official to his cabinet.
Yep.
The story of America is one of trailblazers and fearless underdogs. Today, we see free thinkers and independent voices like gay conservatives and log cabin Republicans.
I'm not really with all that. But what she's doing right now is she's reaching out to the gay voters. They're playing the game. They're playing the game, guys. I know you don't like it. I know you don't like it. But he's not saying this. His wife is saying this. This is a message to all the gay voters that he's not this bigot, anti-gay bigot guy. He's not this racist guy. She'll probably do another one where she says, Donald Trump is not racist. And then she'll talk about all the things he did for minorities. It's not the president's job to wipe people off the face of the earth. It's the president's job to be fair and to be reasonable and to show love. And it's Christians' jobs to show love too. We can be stern, but, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time for being firm and saying, nope, no more of this. We can't budge on this. And then there's a time to show love and to say the right things to win. And that's what I see here. I know a lot of people will probably hear this and they'll be pissed off. Trump loves gays. Ugh. It's like, grow up. Political strategy, exactly.
Silenced, censored.
It's election time. You're going to see more of this stuff. You're going to see more of this stuff. You're going to see Trump's doing things where if you're more extreme and you're more radical to one side, over the next year until election time, you're going to see him doing things that you don't quite agree with. But other people will see it and they'll be like, oh, that's cool. That's nice. He's not a radical. He's not some crazy fascist dictator that's going to come in and put us all in concentration camps. That's what the Democrats do. Melania is pretty, but her lack of facial expression while talking is a bit unnerving. Right. That could be from the surgery. So maybe she has had a little bit of work. Because, yeah, it is a little bit frozen there. Nobody look at her bigger left eye. Now I'm looking at it. Yeah, she doesn't blink a lot.
And bullied.
Also, this could be AI.
By cancel culture mobs. This is not the America any of us want to live in. America was founded on God-given rights of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of expression. We are a nation that celebrates and protects diversity, and we condemn those who bully.
I don't know where in the Bible God gave us the right to free speech, free religion, and free expression. I don't know where in the Bible that is. I don't think that's Christ-like. I don't think that's Christian. I don't think that's true. God did not give us the right to say whatever we want. There are multiple commandments that are about speech. You don't have the freedom, and you don't have the freedom to religion. Put no other gods before me. Don't bear false witness on your neighbor. That's not free speech. There are commandments that go directly in the face of free speech and free religion and free expression. No, God did not give us those rights. I don't know why people say that. God-given right. My Constitution is my God-given right. No, God didn't give you those rights. God commanded you to serve him along with no one else and nothing else. God gave us commandments about how to speak, commandments about how to act, commandments about what to do. He didn't give us freedom to do what we want. So I don't know where that idea comes from. Probably some deist founding fathers like Jefferson, or the most based one was Adams. But like Benjamin Franklin, the Mason, or Thomas Jefferson, the deist. That's where we get these ideas like God gave us the right to free speech. No, he didn't. God commanded us to learn to, well, it says no man can control the tongue, but we're supposed to try. God can control the tongue if you're living through Christ with God, with the Holy Spirit, then God can help you control your tongue. But I never found nothing in the Bible about no free speech or free religion or free expression. I don't know why the Constitution, they said that, the founding fathers said that, because God did not give us any of those rights. Man gave you those rights with a piece of paper.
And intimidate people. We do not want to live in a place without freedom, where everyone is forced to think alike.
She finally blinked. I've been watching for a blink. I haven't seen a blink the whole time.
My husband sees the promise of our country
she's blinking
and
now.
all her citizens moving onward as we recover from many challenges. Even if you don't agree with my husband about everything, you have the right to say it. That is the American way. Let's protect it. I'm First Lady Melania Trump. I support the log cabin Republicans, and I am unapologetically outspoken. God bless you all, and God bless our beautiful nation.
You're beautiful, Melania. Even with your facial reconstructive surgeries, even with the lack of blinking, you're still a beautiful woman, Melania. What is a log cabin Republican? Does that mean a gay Republican? Log cabin Republicans. Yeah, Log Cabin Republicans is the nation's largest Republican organization dedicated to representing LGBT conservatives and allies for more than 40 years. Right. And what is conservative about gay marriage? That's an oxymoron. So, again, I'm going to call it how, that wasn't Trump talking, that was his wife talking. But I'm not with that stuff. But I understand that it's politically expedient to win an election during election time to say stuff like that. And if you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not with that. So log cabin Republicans, well, they don't call themselves conservatives, but it does say Republican Party, nation's Republican organization dedicated to representing LGBT conservatives and allies. Like, if you're gay, you can be a conservative, but you can't be pushing for gay marriage and be a conservative, because there's nothing conservative about that. That's progressive. That's not conservative. So it's kind of an oxymoron. I'm not with that, but I'm also not mad at him. I'm not going to get mad at Trump for his wife putting out that message. I see the purpose of it. I see that you got to get points on the board. You got to get voters in the booth, and you got to get them writing your name down. So Yeah. But it is funny, though, because when gay people will say that Trump is a bigot, he's a homophobic bigot. And it's like, you don't know anything about anything, do you? You just listen to what Joy Reid and The View and these idiots in media tell you about Trump. You don't know anything about him, because if you knew anything about him, you'd know one of the things that the conservatives don't like about him is that he's so pro-gay. Like, that's one of our biggest complaints about him. And then the left complains that he's homophobic. Then the right complains that he's too pro-gay. It's like, the people on the left don't know what they're talking about. It's crazy. I was watching this Jay Dyer versus Nick Fuentes debate. It's pretty good, about Catholicism versus orthodoxy. Pretty good one. Let's play one more clip, and then I think I got to go. And then we'll do a random Bible verse. We'll just open it up and read something out of it. Woo! 13 minutes.
When you are watching live now from Fox, we appreciate it from the Foul Beef shit in Georgia. We're going to take care of the customers. Is this good? Making a lot of money?
Yeah.
Everyone to get rich, right? Thanks. Thank you very much. Look at the way you hold. You like each other, right? I think that's very nice. Have a good time. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. So we'll order 30 milkshakes. We'll give them out to the people, and we'll take some for ourselves, okay? Good. Thank you very much, everybody.
30 milkshakes.
Hello. This is got a great
Hello.
franchise, Chick-fil-A.
I'm going to have 30 milkshakes. 30 milkshakes. Yep.
It is. It's a great franchise. The owner is a great man who is a member of one of my clubs, and he's fantastic. And, yeah, they do very well. They're closed on Sunday. The Lord's Chicken. That's the Lord's Chicken. You're right. It's good chicken, too. Yeah, good to see you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Lord's Chicken.
Hello, everybody. Get ready for a milkshake. You got plenty of them. All right. You got these good-looking guys. Huh?
This is an original from 2016.
Oh, I love this guy. I like that guy. Do you have a pen for me? Give me a good pen. That is the original, huh?
From 2016, Cleveland.
You've been there from the beginning.
Absolutely.
See? You knew what was happening.
Absolutely.
You got it. That's cool, man. What's your name?
Lawrence.
Come here, Lawrence. Let me get this pen out of here.
Well, that hat is worth like $1,000 now.
It's a pleasure. Really nice. It's a pleasure. Yes, sir. He understood long before the rest, right?
Shelley Winter. I talked to you yesterday.
Oh, good. You are fantastic.
Thank you, brother.
You know Shelley?
Get ready for a milkshake, everybody. Milkshake time. It's time for a milkshake, because nobody likes milkshakes like I like milkshakes.
Because he's been there a long time, too. Yes. I think right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
We did a radio interview with Shelley yesterday, and I appreciated it.
I appreciate you very much.
I hung up. I said, what a nice guy that is.
I'll bring in my clubs tomorrow.
All right, this is actually really long. A man of the people. Could you imagine Joe Biden in a Chick-fil-A? What it would look like? We need an AI video of Joe Biden visiting Chick-fil-A and buying milkshakes for everybody and talking to all the people. I love my blacks. I love the blacks. This is Tatface. This is my good friend Tatface. I love Tatface.
Now I want one with you. Come on. Oh, okay. Come on.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, be careful. Don't touch her. Don't touch her too much, Trump.
That's good. Beautiful.
Yeah, can my friend Dom get one too? Yes. She's fundraising.
Come on in. Come on in.
Yep,
Come
she
on
helps
in.
me. Yes, Kayla, yes.
We're going to get rid of Biden.
Yay!
Bye-bye, Sleepy Joe. The worst president in the history of the United States, and he's horrible to the black community, whether you like it or not.
Been that way
He's the
since a
black
senator.
community man. And check out his record in the 1990s. Check out his record in the 1990s.
You're economically look toward us. Yes.
Well, opportunities.
Opportunity-wise, everything, holistic.
Best job numbers ever.
The First Step Act. Let's talk about it.
And the colleges and universities.
HBCUs, First Step Act. Trump loves the blacks. Trump loves the blacks. Biden would be climbing through the play place. Biden would get stuck in one of the tunnels with like an ice cream cone. He'd come out with ice cream all over his face, like, help me, help me, help me out, guys, help me out. He's stuck in a dang tunnel. Go down the slide, Joe. Joe, put the ice cream down. It's all over your face. It's all over your shirt, Joe. Go down the slide. No, go down the slide. Don't go down backwards. Joe, turn around. No, not head first, Joe. I want to slide on my tummy. I want to slide on my tummy. No, Joe. Joe, sit down and go down regular. Diamond and Silk Part 2. Is that who that is? Funny. All right, guys. That's about it for the show. Let's who's got a verse they want me to read? Somebody just call out a verse. What should we read? Should we just open it up and randomly read something to end the show? We're going to do a breakdown of John 7 one day, but hit me with a verse. Hit me with a verse. Hit me with a verse. What should we read? We could do a Psalms. We could do a proverb. What do y'all want to do? Romans 12:2. Thomas got it first. Thomas got it first. Do a faith flip. Oh, just open it up to a random spot. All right, we'll do both. 1 Corinthians, all of it. Hold on. All right, Thomas said Romans 12:2. We'll read a little bit. We'll just start at the beginning of 12. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. The perfect will of God, not your own free will, but God's will. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we being many are one body in Christ, and every one members one of another. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy. Oh, this is the spiritual gifts verse. Prophecy, let us prophesy according to the portion of faith. Or ministry, let us wait on our ministering. Or he that teacheth on teaching. Or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence. He that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. That was a good one, Thomas. Thank you for that. That was a good one. What did the pastor's sermon on Sunday was Romans 12 too? That was cool. Matthew said John 4:21. All right. Hold on. Psalm 8. Y'all got too many, man. We got to do a faith flip for B-Wise. Random faith flip. Faith flip. 2 Samuel. This is about David. 2 Samuel 1:16. And David said unto them, Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth hath testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and Jonathan his son. Okay. That wasn't a very good faith flip. But hold on. Psalms 85. I gotta go. I can't read all these. We'll have to save some. Seesaw said 1 Corinthians, all of the whole book. I can't read the whole book right now. All of 1 Corinthians? Yeah, we don't have time to do that. Let's do faith flip to the New Testament. Let's do Ephesians 3:17. That Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth and length and depth and height, and know the love of Christ which passeth knowledge, that ye may be filled with all the fullness of God. Okay. We can't do all of Corinthians. Psalms 85, you said? Hold on. 95. What would you say? 85? Psalms 85. We'll finish with Psalms 85. Seesaw wants me to do the whole book of Corinthians, like we got all day. Just gonna have to do Bible shorts. He could have done several hundred more, but he didn't want to overwhelm you. John 4:21 is for the women's. Thomas is bench pressing you. Tomas is bench pressing you. What the heck? Psalm 85. Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people. Thou hast covered all their sins. Selah. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath. Thou hast turned thyself from the fierceness of thine anger. Turn us, O God, of our salvation, and cause thine anger toward us to cease. Wilt thou be angry with us forever? Wilt thou draw out thine anger to all generations? Wilt thou not revive us again, and thy people may rejoice in thee? Show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. I will hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace unto his people and to his saints. But let them not turn again to folly. Surely his salvation is nigh, them that fear him, that glory may dwell in our land. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and the righteousness shall look down from heaven. Yea, the Lord shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the way of his steps. Psalm 85. 1 Corinthians 13. Okay, last one. You got to talk long enough for the congregation to find the verse, bruh. No, we're rapid fire. We're rapid fire doing it. You got to do Bible drills. We used to do Bible drills in Christian school, where the teacher would call out a chapter and a verse, and then everybody would start flipping, and whoever got to it first and read it first would get a piece of candy. Me and this kid Jacob were the best. We were always going to battle. What was it? Seesaw? 1 Corinthians. Didn't you say the 1 Corinthians 13? 1 Corinthians 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Oh, this is love. So this is in King James. So it's, the old signs, love does not boast, love is not proud. The word in the King James is charity. Basically, they're saying this is the characteristics of love, but it's charity in here. So charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. Doth not behave itself unseemly. Seeketh not her own. Is not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. So that's now abides faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. You can put love in the place of charity in there. But that's a good one. I know Charity, she's a devil. What's up, Steven? Sorry, the show's ending. I gotta go, guys. I gotta go like right now. So thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button on your way out. If you like the show, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell everybody. Let's do where's the cool outro music? Hey, Dreaded Conservative Show. Monday nights, kicking the week off right. 4 p.m. Pacific. 7 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday night, kicking the week off right. The world's a crazy place. I'm just reporting on it. Tell your friends. Share the stream out. Hit up the Cashapp. Memberships, super chats, all that stuff. I'll see you guys again throughout the week. Friday nights, Saturday nights, Discord panels, gaming streams, reaction videos, all that stuff. Coming to a computer near you. God bless, guys. Have a good night. I'll see you all later. Thank you for watching. Peace. All right.